Hello everyone, my name is Jacob from jacobteacher.com and I am here with Ben from Ifluent English. Ben, how's it going?
It's going good, thank you. Hello, Jacob.
Thank you for being on the show today. Ben and I are going to talk to you about a very common phrasal verb that's used in English. The phrasal verb is used to. So we're going to tell you a little bit about that. But first, Ben, I was wondering if you could introduce yourself for everyone watching.
Yes, my name's Ben. I'm from London in England, and I currently live in Japan, in Osaka.
And what do you do in Japan right now?
In Japan, I teach English in Eikaiwa, which is an English school in Japan.
Okay, and what do you do at iFluent English?
At iFluent English, I make short videos and materials that explain phrasal verbs, idioms, just anything really.
Great. I especially enjoy your Instagram page. The visuals that you put out are really awesome and help explain some idioms, I think, in a very unique and useful way for everyone. So if you haven't already followed iFluent English on Instagram, I would highly recommend doing that. Ben, I was wondering if you could introduce the phrase used to. It's something that I hear it's obviously a very common phrase that we use in English, and it's also something that a lot of English language learners tend to struggle with sometimes. So I was wondering if you could introduce it, tell us what it means, and maybe give a few examples.
Sure. Okay, so yes, it is a very commonly used word in English, a used phrase. And we use used to talk about things that happened in the past and no longer happen now. So let me give you some examples. I could say, I used to smoke, but I quit last year. So what this means is maybe a couple of years ago, I used to smoke, but right now I no longer smoke. Okay, so
is that true? Did you actually?
That's not actually true, but I thought that would be a good example.
Yeah. Great.
Another example, she used to have really long hair before she cut it all off. So now she has short hair. She used to have long hair. So used to explains that she used to have long hair. And one more example, they used to live in India. So you don't actually have to say the second half of a sentence if it is obvious what you are saying. So if they used to live in India, it's quite obvious that they no longer live in India. So, yeah.
Right.
That's my examples.
I would say that's probably the most common way that we hear the phrase used to used. There's also another way that we use it, though, and that is when we're talking about something that has become familiar in our lives. So, for example, right now, this is a true story. There's construction going on outside of my house. Literally right outside of my apartment, there is construction, and they work 7 days a week here. They start at 6:30 in the morning, so it's very, very noisy every single morning. And at first, when they started, it was really annoying and it bothered me a lot, but now I'm used to the noise. I'm familiar with it. I'm used to it. It no longer, well, it still bothers me a little, but I no longer notice it as much. So that is another way that we use the phrase used to. Ben, I wanted to ask you, what is something in your life that at first maybe was a little bit annoying or frustrating, but then later you got used to it?
Well, when I first moved to Japan, obviously the culture shock and the different languages took some getting used to. Now I'm starting to understand Japanese a bit more. I'm getting used to living in Japan. Also, the food is very different over here. Like Western food, sometimes packed full of sugar and lots of flavors. And Japanese, their food is a lot healthier. And I don't know, I wouldn't say bland, but different to Western food. So that took some getting used to as well, but I'm getting used to it. So
great. Now, this is the first time that you and I have met, right?
Yes.
So I thought it would be great to kind of practice using the phrase used to if we played a little game. And the game is called Two Truths, One Lie. So here's how it works. I'm going to tell you three things about myself. Two of them are
Okay.
true, and one of them is a lie. And I want you to try and guess which thing is the lie. So I'll
Okay.
start, and then we're gonna switch, and Ben's gonna tell me some things about himself. So here we go. Two truths, one lie. Number one, I used to have a pet pig.
Okay.
I used to have a pet pig. Number two, I used to play guitar in a band. And number three, I used to play basketball competitively.
Okay. So you used to have a pet pig.
Right, number one, I used to have a pet pig.
You used to play a guitar in a band,
Mm-hmm.
and you used to play basketball competitively.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go with number three. You used to play basketball competitively.
Going with number three, is it because I'm very short, right?
I can't actually tell on the web camera, but
Yeah,
maybe.
of course. Yeah. It's actually number one. So in high school, I did play basketball on the basketball team.
Oh, cool.
I also was in a band when I was a little bit younger, and unfortunately, I did not have a pet pig. I would have loved to have one, but I did not have a pet pig. So number one is a lie.
Okay. Fair enough. Thank you.
All right, let's switch roles here.
Okay. Okay, so my first one is I used to ride a motorbike to work, but now I take the train. Number two, I used to play golf. And number three, I used to live in Australia.
So number one, you used to ride a motorcycle, now you ride the bus.
I take the train now in Japan.
Okay, number two, you used to play golf.
I used to play golf.
And number three, you used to live in Australia.
Yes.
I'm going to go with number three also.
As the false one is actually I used to play golf.
Oh, really?
I never played golf.
Do you like golf?
Not really, no. How about
Okay.
you?
I do actually. I used to work on a golf course in
Yes.
Canada. For 7 summers, actually, I worked on various golf courses. So
Yep.
I learned to love the sport while I was working on these golf courses. Now, Ben, you are from England. My geography is not very good, but how far is Liverpool from London?
Well, on the motorway, I'd say about 3 hours drive.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure exactly in miles, but it's quite far. Yeah.
Quite far? Okay. Are you a Beatles fan?
Yes, I would say I am. Yes.
Great. I'm a huge Beatles fan too, and when I was preparing for this interview, I thought it would be interesting if we could look at one particular Beatles song in which the phrase "used to" is used. And that song is "Yesterday," one of my favorites of all time by the Beatles, sung by Paul McCartney. And in this song, he uses the phrase "used to." He says, "Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly." And the song, just to give everyone some background, the song, he is singing about a girl that he seems to have gotten into a fight with. And suddenly, the song is called Yesterday because he's longing for yesterday. He wishes it was the day before they had gotten into this quarrel, this fight, before all of these problems happened, before everything felt so difficult. So I'm going to read again that quote. "Suddenly, I'm not half the man I used to be. There's a shadow hanging over me. Oh, yesterday came suddenly." I was wondering if you could explain what he means here by "I'm not half the man I used to be."
Well, obviously, opinions on songs are subjective, so
Right.
it means it changes depending on person. But what I get from the song is that he's saying he used to be a happy man until he made a big mistake with his wife or his girlfriend, and obviously she left him, and now he's no longer happy. So before he was gone, his life was much better, and at the moment, in the present moment, it's not so good.
Yes, that's what it sounds like to me too. Poor Paul McCartney. Okay, well, Ben, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you and a pleasure speaking with you. And I hope we can do this again sometime.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Jacob.
Yes, and if you haven't, again, check out Ben on Ifluent English. He's on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and you have your own website, right? ifluentenglish.com?
Yes, thank
Right.
you.
Okay, my name is Jacob from jacobteacher.com, and I will see you another time. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.